Question 1. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. Scenario. Mr. Anderson, a homeowner in Tulsa, Oklahoma, holds a surplus lines insurance policy that covers damage to his property caused by severe storms. During a recent storm, his roof sustained significant damage. Mr. Anderson promptly notifies his insurance agent and submits a claim. The adjuster assesses the damage and determines that some areas of the roof were already in poor condition prior to the storm. According to the policy language, pre-existing conditions are explicitly excluded from coverage. How should the adjuster evaluate this claim? A. Evaluate only the store-related damage and approve coverage for those repairs. B. Deny coverage for the entire claim due to the presence of pre-existing conditions. C. Approve coverage for all damages since the storm exacerbated the existing issues. D. Recommend partial coverage based on the proportion of damage directly caused by the storm. Answer 8. Evaluate only the store-related damage and approve coverage for those repairs. In Oklahoma, as in many states, surplus lines insurance policies often exclude coverage for pre-existing conditions to limit exposure and maintain underwriting integrity. The adjuster's role is crucial in accurately assessing the extent of damage attributable solely to the storm event. By focusing solely on storm-related damages, the adjuster ensures compliance with policy provisions while fulfilling their duty to evaluate claims fairly and accurately. Question 2. Surplus lines insurance claims process. Which of the following stakeholders in surplus lines claims handling is primarily responsible for ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements such as licensing and reporting in the state of Oklahoma? A. Insurance adjusters appointed by the surplus lines insurer. B. Surplus lines brokers facilitating the placement of insurance. C. State insurance regulators overseeing surplus lines transactions. D. Legal counsel representing the insured during claim disputes. Answer. C. State insurance regulators overseeing surplus lines transactions. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurance is governed by strict regulatory frameworks overseen by state insurance regulators. These regulators ensure that surplus lines transactions comply with licensing, reporting, and consumer protection laws. Option A. Insurance adjusters play a role in claims handling but are not primarily responsible for regulatory compliance. Option B. Surplus lines brokers facilitate insurance placement but do not enforce regulatory requirements. Option D. Legal counsel focuses on legal aspects and advocacy rather than regulatory oversight. Question 3. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which ethical consideration is particularly relevant for claims professionals handling surplus lines insurance claims in Oklahoma? A. Maintaining confidentiality of claims-related information. B. Advocating aggressively for maximum claim payouts. C. Streamlining claims processes to minimize insurer expenses. D. Disclosing all policy exclusions upfront to avoid surprises for insureds. Answer A. Maintaining confidentiality of claims-related information. Ethical considerations are crucial in surplus lines claims handling, particularly regarding the confidentiality of claims-related information. Claims professionals must adhere to strict confidentiality standards to protect sensitive information about insureds and claim details. Option B is incorrect because aggressive advocacy may conflict with fair claims handling practices. Option C may be efficient but must not compromise fairness or ethical standards. Option D, while important, pertains more to transparency in policy issuance rather than claims handling ethics. Question 4. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. Which of the following is a key characteristic of surplus lines insurance policies that distinguishes them from standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma? A. Guaranteed renewability of policies upon expiration. B. Exclusion from state guarantee fund protections. C. Mandatory inclusion of coverage for natural disasters. D. Requirement for premium tax exemptions. Answer. B. Exclusion from state guarantee fund protections. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma and other states are not covered by state guarantee funds, which protect policyholders in the event of insurer insolvency. This exclusion emphasizes the importance of due diligence in selecting financially stable surplus lines insurers. Option is incorrect because guaranteed renewability is a feature found in both surplus lines and admitted insurance policies, depending on the insurer's terms. Option C is incorrect as coverage for natural disasters is not mandatory in surplus lines policies and varies based on policy terms. Option D is incorrect because premium tax exemptions may apply in some cases but are not a defining characteristic of surplus lines insurance. Question 5. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. During the settlement negotiation process for a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, which of the following actions by the claims professional would be most compliant with regulatory requirements? A. Offering a quick, lump sum payment to expedite the closure of the claim. B. Requesting additional documentation from the insured to delay the settlement. C. Advising the insured to accept or reduce settlement amount due to policy limitations. D. Disclosing all relevant settlement terms and options to the insured for informed decision-making. D. Disclosing all relevant settlement terms and options to the insured for informed decision-making. In Oklahoma, surplus lines claims professionals must adhere to regulatory requirements that prioritize transparency and fairness in settlements. Option D ensures that the insured is fully informed about settlement terms, options, and any potential implications, empowering them to make an informed decision. Options and C are incorrect because they suggest actions that may prioritize expediency or financial savings over the insured's best interests, potentially violating fair claims practices. Option B is incorrect as requesting additional documentation should be justified and not used solely to delay settlement. Question 6. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. In the context of surplus lines insurance claims investigation in Oklahoma, what role does the claims adjuster play in utilizing outside experts and specialists? A. Insuring or external experts are licensed by the Oklahoma Insurance Department. B. Evaluating the reliability and objectivity of outside experts' opinions. C. Obtaining multiple expert opinions to confirm the insured's claim. D. Directly negotiating fees and costs with outside experts on behalf of the insured. Answer B. Evaluating the reliability and objectivity of outside experts' opinions. Claims adjusters in Oklahoma are responsible for critically evaluating the expertise, objectivity, and relevance of external experts' opinions in supporting or refuting claims. This process ensures that claims investigations are thorough and objective, aligning with regulatory expectations for fair claims handling practices. Option is incorrect because while external experts should have appropriate credentials, specific licensing by the Oklahoma Insurance Department may not always be required depending on the expertise needed. Option C is incorrect as obtaining multiple opinions can be beneficial but must prioritize quality over quantity. Option D is incorrect as claims adjusters facilitate the engagement but do not negotiate fees directly, which is typically handled by insurers or their representatives. Question 7. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. In the state of Oklahoma, which alternative dispute resolution method is commonly used to resolve surplus lines insurance claims disputes efficiently and outside of court? A. Arbitration. B. Mediation. C. Judicial review. D. Conciliation. Answer A. Arbitration. Arbitration is a commonly used alternative dispute resolution and a method in Oklahoma and other states for resolving surplus lines insurance claims disputes efficiently and outside of court. It involves a neutral arbitrator who reviews the dispute and makes a binding decision, providing a quicker and less formal process compared to litigation. Option B, mediation, is another ADR method but involves a non-binding facilitation by a mediator to help parties reach a mutually agreeable settlement. Options C and D are less common in insurance claims disputes and typically refer to different processes within the judicial system rather than ADR methods. Question 8. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which ethical principle should surplus lines claims professionals prioritize when handling claims involving multiple insureds in Oklahoma? A. Fairness in claims handling. B. Maximizing insurer profitability. C. Expediency in claims resolution. D. Minimizing claim payouts. Answer A. Fairness in claims handling. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma are bound by ethical principles that prioritize fairness in claims handling, ensuring equitable treatment of all insured parties involved in a claim. This principle emphasizes transparency, impartiality, and adherence to policy terms and regulatory requirements. Option B is incorrect because while profitability is a consideration for insurers, it should not override fairness in claims handling. Option C is incorrect as expediency must be balanced with thoroughness to ensure fair outcomes. Option D is incorrect because minimizing claim payouts should not compromise fair treatment of insureds. Question 9. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which regulatory requirement must surplus lines insurers comply with in Oklahoma to ensure consumer protection and fair claims practices? A. Mandatory use of local adjusters for claims handling. B. Submission of surplus lines premium tax reports. C. Offering additional coverage beyond standard policy terms. D. Obtaining approval from national regulatory bodies. Answer: B. Submission of surplus lines premium tax reports. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurers are required to submit premium tax reports to state regulatory authorities. This regulatory requirement ensures transparency in premium collection and compliance with tax obligations, contributing to consumer protection and fair market practices. Option is incorrect because while local adjusters may be used, it is not mandatory and does not relate directly to regulatory compliance. Option C is incorrect as offering additional coverage is a business decision rather than a regulatory requirement. Option D is incorrect as approval from national bodies does not specifically relate to state-level regulatory compliance in surplus lines insurance. Question 10. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. When conducting a claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, which factor is most critical for the claims adjuster to consider regarding the insured's compliance with policy conditions? A. Timeliness of claim notification to the insurer. B. Availability of witnesses to corroborate the claim. C. History of previous claims filed by the insured. D. Adherence to state building code regulations. Answer A. Timeliness of claim notification to the insurer. In Oklahoma, and generally across insurance practices, the timeliness of claim notification is crucial for determining coverage under surplus lines insurance policies. Insurers often require prompt notification to assess damages timely and facilitate fair claims resolution. Option B may be important for gathering evidence, but it does not directly address compliance with policy conditions. Option C, the insured's claims history may be relevant but does not pertain directly to policy compliance. Option D, adherence to building codes, relates more to the scope of damage assessment rather than policy compliance timing. Question 11. Introduction to surplus lines insurance. Which characteristic of surplus lines insurance distinguishes it from standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma? A. Coverage for routine maintenance expenses. B. Low premiums due to reduced coverage limits. C. Flexibility in policy terms and conditions. D. Mandatory inclusion in state guarantee funds. Answer: C. Flexibility in policy terms and conditions. Surplus lines insurance in Oklahoma offers greater flexibility in policy terms and conditions compared to standard admitted insurance policies. This flexibility allows surplus lines insurers to cover risks that admitted insurers may decline, providing tailored solutions for unique insurance needs. Options A, B, and D are incorrect because they do not represent distinguishing characteristics of surplus lines insurance. Coverage for routine maintenance expenses, Option A, and low premiums, Option B, can vary among insurers but are not specific to surplus lines. Option D is incorrect as surplus lines insurance policies are excluded from state guarantee funds. Question 12. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. In the context of surplus lines insurance claims handling in Oklahoma, what is the primary role of the claims professional regarding conflicts of interest? A. Disclosing any potential conflicts of interest promptly. B. Avoiding all interactions with insureds during claims handling. C. Seeking approval from legal counsel before making decisions. D. Prioritizing insurer interests over insured interests. Answer A. Disclosing any potential conflicts of interest promptly. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma must disclose any potential conflicts of interest promptly to ensure transparency and maintain ethical standards. This disclosure allows insureds and other stakeholders to assess the impartiality of claims handling decisions. Option B is incorrect because avoiding interactions with insureds entirely is impractical and may hinder effective claims handling. Option C, while important for legal guidance, is not the primary role regarding conflicts of interest. Option D is incorrect because claims professionals must balance insurer and insured interests fairly rather than prioritizing one over the other. Question 13. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. When reviewing a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, which provision typically requires careful interpretation to determine coverage for ambiguous claims? A. Coverage territory clause. B. Exclusionary language. C. Policy period definition. D. Subrogation rights clause. Answer: B. Exclusionary language. Exclusionary language in surplus lines insurance policies often requires careful interpretation to understand its scope and applicability. Claims professionals must assess whether specific losses are excluded from coverage based on the policy's language and intent. Option: it pertains to where coverage applies and is generally straightforward. Option C defines the time frame during which coverage is effective. Option D addresses the insurer's rights after paying a claim and is less relevant to determining initial coverage. Question 14. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. During the settlement negotiation for a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, what factor should the claims professional prioritize to ensure compliance with fair claims practices? A. Minimizing insurer expenses. B. Negotiating a swift resolution. C. Maximizing claim payment accuracy. D. Fair treatment of the insured. Answer: D. Fair treatment of the insured. In Oklahoma, surplus lines claims professionals must prioritize fair treatment of the insured during settlement negotiations to comply with fair claims practices. This includes providing clear explanations of settlement terms, options, and any potential impacts on the insured's coverage. Options and B may be objectives but should not compromise fair treatment. Option C is important for accuracy but does not necessarily ensure fair treatment without considering the insured's perspective. Question 15. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which aspect of surplus lines insurance claims handling in Oklahoma is primarily regulated by state insurance departments to protect consumers? A. Policy premium pricing. B. Claims settlement practices. C. Advertising of insurance products. D. Appointment of surplus lines brokers. Answer: B. Claims settlement practices. In Oklahoma, state insurance departments primarily regulate claims settlement practices for surplus lines insurance to protect consumers from unfair practices. This regulation ensures that claims are handled promptly, fairly, and transparently. Options A, C, and D are also regulated but are less directly related to protecting consumers in claims handling. Premium pricing, option A, may be regulated to prevent unfair rates, but claims settlement practices directly impact consumers' outcomes during the claims process. Question 16. Surplus lines insurance claims process. In Oklahoma, which stakeholder is responsible for ensuring compliance with surplus lines insurance laws and regulations during the claims handling process? A. Insurance adjusters appointed by the surplus lines insurer. B. Surplus lines brokers facilitating the insurance placement. C. State insurance regulators overseeing surplus lines transactions. D. Legal counsel representing the insured during claim disputes. Answer: C. State insurance regulators overseeing surplus lines transactions. In Oklahoma, state insurance regulators play a critical role in overseeing surplus lines transactions, ensuring compliance with laws and regulations throughout the claims handling process. They monitor adherence to licensing, reporting requirements, and fair claims practices to protect consumers and maintain market stability. Options A, B, and D involve stakeholders in the claims process but do not have the primary responsibility for regulatory compliance as state insurance regulators do. Question 17. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which ethical principle is most relevant for surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma when handling claims disputes involving coverage interpretations? A. Transparency in communication with insureds. B. Maximizing insurer profitability through claims resolution. C. Prompt settlement to expedite claims closure. D. Advocacy for insured's maximum claim payouts. Answer A. Transparency in communication with insureds. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma must prioritize transparency in communication with insureds when handling claims disputes involving coverage interpretations. This ethical principle ensures that insureds are fully informed about their policy coverage, exclusions, and claim outcomes, promoting trust and fairness in claims handling. Options B, C, and D may have merits but can conflict with ethical standards if not balanced with transparency and fairness. Question 18. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. when evaluating the extent and value of a property damage claim under surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, which factor is crucial for the claims adjuster to consider: A. The insured's financial history and credit score. B. Weather conditions at the time of the loss. C. Compliance with local building codes and regulations. D. The policy's valuation method for property damage. Answer: D. The policy's valuation method for property damage. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurance policies may specify unique valuation methods for property damage, which the claims adjuster must follow when evaluating the extent and value of a claim. This ensures consistency and fairness in claims handling and aligns with regulatory requirements for proper claim assessment. Options A and B are irrelevant to property damage valuation under the policy. Option C, while important for assessing repair standards, does not directly affect valuation methods specified in the policy. Question 19. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. In Oklahoma, what is the primary purpose of interviewing insureds, witnesses, and other parties involved in a surplus lines insurance claim? A. To gather evidence for potential litigation. B. To establish the insured's credibility. C. To verify the extent and cause of the loss. D. To expedite the claims settlement process. Answer: C. To verify the extent and cause of the loss. The primary purpose of interviewing insureds, witnesses, and other parties in a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma is to verify and understand the extent and cause of the loss. This process helps claims professionals gather relevant information and evidence necessary to accurately assess the claim and determine coverage under the policy. Options A, B, and D may be secondary outcomes of interviews but do not capture the primary purpose of verifying the loss details. Question 20. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which ethical consideration is paramount for surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma when negotiating claims settlements? A. Minimizing insurer expenses. B. Ensuring prompt resolution of claims. C. Providing fair and equitable settlements. D. Achieving maximum claim payouts for insureds. Answer: C. Providing fair and equitable settlements. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma must prioritize providing fair and equitable settlements during negotiations to uphold ethical standards. This includes considering all relevant factors and policy provisions to reach a settlement that meets the insured's legitimate claim expectations while also complying with insurer guidelines. Options A, B, and D may be objectives in claims handling but should not override the ethical imperative of fairness in settlements. Question 21. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which aspect of surplus lines insurance claims handling in Oklahoma is primarily governed by state laws to ensure adherence to fair claims practices? A. Premium tax reporting requirements. B. Submission of claims adjustment reports. C. Timeliness of claim acknowledgement. D. Utilization of independent adjusters. Answer: C. Timeliness of claim acknowledgement. In Oklahoma, state laws primarily govern the timeliness of claim acknowledgement and processing in surplus lines insurance to ensure adherence to fair claims practices. Insurers must promptly acknowledge receipt of claims and begin investigation and processing within specified timeframes to protect insured's interests and maintain regulatory compliance. Options A, B, and D are also regulated aspects but focus more on financial reporting, adjustment processes, and operational procedures rather than the initial acknowledgement timeline required for claims handling. Question 22. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. In Oklahoma, which factor is critical for the claims adjuster to consider when determining coverage for a liability claim under a surplus lines insurance policy? A. Insured's history of previous claims. B. Availability of witness testimonies. C. Policy exclusions and limitations. D. Local weather conditions at the time of the incident. Answer: C. Policy exclusions and limitations. When evaluating coverage for a liability claim under a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, the claims adjuster must carefully review policy exclusions and limitations. These provisions define the scope of coverage and may affect the insurer's obligation to pay for certain types of losses or damages. Options A and B are relevant for gathering evidence but do not determine coverage directly. Option D relates to the circumstances of the incident but is less critical compared to understanding policy terms. Question 23. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. During the negotiation of a surplus lines insurance claim settlement in Oklahoma, what is the primary responsibility of the claims professional regarding settlement agreements? A. Ensuring compliance with premium tax obligations. B. Documenting all settlement terms accurately. C. Advising the insured on future risk management. D. Negotiating deductible amounts with the insured. Answer: B. Documenting all settlement terms accurately. In Oklahoma, the primary responsibility of the claims professional during settlement negotiations is to document all settlement terms accurately. This ensures clarity and prevents misunderstandings between the insurer and insured regarding the agreed-upon terms of the settlement. Options A, C, and D may be relevant to other aspects of claims handling but do not directly address the primary responsibility of documenting settlement terms. Question 24. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. When a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma proceeds to litigation, what role does legal counsel typically play in the process? A. Acting as a witness in court proceedings. B. Representing the insurer in settlement negotiations. C. Providing legal advice and representation. D. Mediating disputes between the insurer and insured. Answer: C. Providing legal advice and representation. In Oklahoma, legal counsel typically provides legal advice and representation during litigation of surplus lines insurance claims. Counsel advises insurers on legal strategies, represents them in court proceedings, and ensures compliance with legal requirements throughout the litigation process. Options A, B, and D describe roles that legal counsel may fulfill in different contexts but are less central to their primary role of providing legal representation in litigation. Question 25. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. When reviewing a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what is the significance of the brokerage aspect compared to standard admitted insurance policies? A. It indicates coverage for risks not typically insured by admitted insurers. B. It refers to the lower premiums charged due to reduced coverage limits. C. It guarantees automatic inclusion in state guarantee funds. D. It specifies mandatory endorsements required by state law. Answer A. It indicates coverage for risks not typically insured by admitted insurers. The brokerage aspect of surplus lines insurance in Oklahoma signifies that the policy covers risks that admitted insurers may decline to insure due to their unique or high-risk nature. This characteristic allows surplus lines brokers to place coverage with non-admitted insurers that specialize in these types of risks. Option B is incorrect because the brokerage aspect does not necessarily imply lower premiums. Option C is incorrect as surplus lines insurance policies are generally excluded from state guarantee funds. Option D is incorrect because mandatory endorsements are not typically specified by the brokerage aspect but by policy terms. Question 26. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which ethical principle is most relevant for surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma when handling claims involving confidential information? A. Disclosure of all claim details to third-party experts. B. Maintaining confidentiality and privacy of claim information. C. Providing regular updates to the insured throughout the claims process. D. Obtaining written consent from the insured before sharing claim information. Answer: B. Maintaining confidentiality and privacy of claim information. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma must adhere to ethical principles that prioritize maintaining the confidentiality and privacy of claim information. This principle ensures that sensitive information about the insured's claims and circumstances is protected from unauthorized disclosure, promoting trust and compliance with privacy laws. Options A, C, and D involve sharing or disclosing information, which should be done responsibly with appropriate consent or when necessary, but do not address the primary ethical responsibility of maintaining confidentiality. Question 27. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. During a claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, why is it important for the claims adjuster to verify the insured's compliance with policy conditions? A. To minimize insurer expenses related to claims. B. To determine the insured's credibility in the claim. C. To ensure the claim is covered under the policy terms. D. To expedite the claim's settlement process. Answer: C. To ensure the claim is covered under the policy terms. In Oklahoma, verifying the insured's compliance with policy conditions during a surplus lines insurance claim investigation is crucial to determining whether the claim meets the coverage criteria specified in the policy. This verification ensures that the insurer's obligations are aligned with the policy terms and that the claim is handled fairly and in accordance with regulatory requirements. Options A, B, and D may be considerations in claims handling but do not directly address the primary purpose of verifying policy compliance for coverage determination. Question 20. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In Oklahoma, what role does the surplus lines broker typically play in the claims settlement process for a surplus lines insurance policy? A. Negotiating settlement terms on behalf of the insured. B. Advocating for maximum claim payouts from the insurer. C. Facilitating communication between the insured and insurer. D. Determining coverage eligibility under the policy terms. Answer: C. Facilitating communication between the insured and insurer. In Oklahoma, surplus lines brokers typically facilitate communication between the insured and insurer during the claims settlement process. They act as intermediaries to ensure that both parties understand the claim details, coverage terms, and settlement options, promoting efficient and effective resolution. Options A and B involve roles that may be handled by the insured or their legal representatives, not necessarily the broker. Option D is typically the responsibility of the claims adjuster or insurer. Question 29. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. When a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma proceeds to litigation, which factor is crucial for the claims adjuster to consider regarding the insurer's defense strategy? A. Minimizing legal costs associated with the litigation. B. Demonstrating the insured's negligence in court. C. Compliance with state insurance reporting requirements. D. Maintaining consistency with the policy's coverage terms. Answer: D. Maintaining consistency with the policy's coverage terms. During litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, the claims adjuster must ensure that the insurer's defense strategy maintains consistency with the policy's coverage terms. This includes demonstrating that the insurer's interpretation of policy provisions aligns with the facts of the case and supports the defense against the claims asserted by the insured. Options A, B, and C may be considerations in litigation but do not directly address the primary factor of maintaining policy consistency in defense strategy. Question 30. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What is a key advantage of surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma compared to standard admitted insurance policies? A. Lower premium rates due to state guarantee fund protections. B. Flexibility to cover risks that admitted insurers may decline. C. Mandatory coverage for all types of natural disasters. D. Guaranteed renewal of policies at initial terms. Answer: B. Flexibility to cover risks that admitted insurers may decline. A key advantage of surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma is their flexibility to cover risks that admitted insurers may decline due to their unique or high-risk nature. This allows insureds to obtain tailored coverage solutions that meet specific needs not addressed by standard admitted insurance policies. Options A, C, and D are incorrect because they do not represent distinguishing advantages of surplus lines insurance policies, which primarily involve flexibility and coverage for non-standard risks. Question 31. Surplus lines insurance claims process. In Oklahoma, what is the primary purpose of establishing reserves for surplus lines insurance claims? A. To estimate potential insurer liabilities accurately. B. To expedite the claims settlement process. C. To minimize insured dissatisfaction. D. To maximize insurer profitability. Answer: A. To estimate potential insurer liabilities accurately. Establishing reserves for surplus lines insurance claims in Oklahoma is primarily done to estimate potential insurer liabilities accurately. This practice ensures that insurers set aside sufficient funds to cover expected claim payments, thereby maintaining financial stability in complying with regulatory requirements. Options B, C, and D may be considerations in claims handling but do not address the primary purpose of reserves for estimating liabilities. Question 32. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which ethical consideration is most relevant for surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma when handling claims involving multiple insured parties? A. Maximizing insurer profitability through claim resolution. B. Advocating for equal claim payouts among insured parties. C. Avoiding disclosure of policy limits to insureds. D. Ensuring fair and equitable treatment of all insureds. Answer: D. Ensuring fair and equitable treatment of all insureds. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma must prioritize ensuring fair and equitable treatment of all insured parties when handling claims involving multiple insureds. This ethical consideration involves assessing each claim impartially and applying policy terms consistently to avoid favoritism or unfair treatment. Options A, B, and C may be objectives or considerations but do not align with the ethical imperative of fairness among insured parties. Question 33. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which regulatory requirement must surplus lines insurers comply with in Oklahoma to ensure transparency and consumer protection? A. Offering discounts on premium rates. B. Providing annual policyholder statements. C. Conducting regular claims audits. D. Obtaining surplus lines broker licenses. Answer: B. Providing annual policyholder statements. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurers must provide annual policyholder statements as a regulatory requirement to ensure transparency and protect consumer interests. These statements disclose policy terms, premiums paid, coverage details, and other relevant information to policyholders, promoting transparency in insurance transactions. Options A, C, and D may also be regulatory requirements but are less directly related to ensuring transparency and consumer protection through policyholder statements. Question 34. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. During a claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, why is it important for the claims adjuster to consider the insured's compliance with policy conditions? A. To minimize insurer expenses related to claims. B. To determine the insured's credibility in the claim. C. To ensure the claim is covered under the policy terms. D. To expedite the claim's settlement process. Answer: C. To ensure the claim is covered under the policy terms. In Oklahoma, verifying the insured's compliance with policy conditions during a surplus lines insurance claim investigation is crucial to determining whether the claim meets the coverage criteria specified in the policy. This verification ensures that the insurer's obligations are aligned with the policy terms and that the claim is handled fairly and in accordance with regulatory requirements. Options A, B, and D may be considerations in claims handling but do not directly address the primary purpose of verifying policy compliance for coverage determination. Question 35. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. When negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, why is it important for the claims professional to consider policy exclusions and limitations? A. To minimize insurer expenses related to settlements. B. To maximize the insured's claim payout. C. To determine the insured's financial responsibility. D. To ensure compliance with policy coverage terms. Answer: D. To ensure compliance with policy coverage terms. In Oklahoma, considering policy exclusions and limitations during the negotiation of a surplus lines insurance claim settlement is crucial to ensuring compliance with policy coverage terms. Claims professionals must accurately apply these provisions to determine the scope of coverage and avoid disputes over claim payments. Options A, B, and C may be factors in settlement negotiations but do not directly address the importance of policy compliance. Question 36. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What role does surplus lines insurance play in Oklahoma's insurance market compared to standard admitted insurance? A. Providing coverage for risks excluded by admitted insurers. B. Offering low premiums due to state guarantee fund protections. C. Guaranteeing automatic inclusion in state insurance pools. D. Requiring approval from state regulators for policy issuance. Answer A. Providing coverage for risks excluded by admitted insurers. Surplus lines insurance in Oklahoma fills gaps in the insurance market by providing coverage for risks that standard admitted insurers may decline to cover due to their unique or high-risk nature. This aspect allows surplus lines insurers to cater to specialized insurance needs that fall outside the scope of admitted insurance policies. Options B, C, and D do not accurately describe the role of surplus lines insurance in relation to standard admitted insurance. Question 37. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. When evaluating the value of a property claim under a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what factors should the claims adjuster primarily consider? A. Local market trends in property values. B. The insured's financial history and credit score. C. The policy's valuation method for property damage. D. Weather conditions at the time of the loss. Answer: C. The policy's valuation method for property damage. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurance policies often specify particular methods for valuing property damage claims. Claims adjusters must adhere to these methods to ensure consistency and fairness in assessing claim values. Options A, B, and D may be relevant in some contexts but do not directly influence the valuation method specified in the policy. Question 38. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. What ethical consideration should surplus lines claims professionals prioritize when handling claims involving potential conflicts of interest in Oklahoma? A. Maximizing insurer profitability through claims resolution. B. Disclosing conflicts of interest to all parties involved. C. Advocating for swift resolution to minimize costs. D. Avoiding negotiation with insureds directly. Answer: B. Disclosing conflicts of interest to all parties involved. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma must prioritize disclosing conflicts of interest to all parties involved in claims handling to maintain ethical standards and transparency. This disclosure helps mitigate potential biases and ensures that all parties are aware of any circumstances that could impact the fairness of claim decisions. Options A, C, and D are important considerations but do not address the ethical imperative of disclosing conflicts of interest. Question 39. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which regulatory requirement must surplus lines brokers comply with in Oklahoma to facilitate the placement of surplus lines insurance policies? A. Obtaining surplus lines broker licenses. B. Reporting premium tax obligations. C. Providing annual policyholder statements. D. Conducting regular claims audits. Answer A. Obtaining surplus lines broker licenses. In Oklahoma, surplus lines brokers must obtain specific licenses to legally facilitate the placement of surplus lines insurance policies. This licensing requirement ensures that brokers are qualified and regulated to handle non-admitted insurance transactions, protecting consumers and maintaining market integrity. Options B, C, and D are also regulatory requirements but pertain to different aspects of insurance transactions, not directly related to the broker's licensing for surplus lines. Question 40. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In Oklahoma, what is the primary role of the surplus lines insurer's claims adjuster during the claims settlement process? A. Negotiating the lowest possible settlement amount to minimize expenses. B. Ensuring compliance with premium tax reporting requirements. C. Evaluating the extent of coverage under the policy terms. D. Advising the insured on future risk management strategies. Answer: C. Evaluating the extent of coverage under the policy terms. During the claims settlement process in Oklahoma, the primary role of the surplus lines insurer's claims adjuster is to evaluate the extent of coverage under the policy terms. This involves assessing the applicability of policy provisions, exclusions, and limitations to determine the insurer's obligation to indemnify the insured for the loss. Options A, B, and D may be tasks that the claims adjuster performs but do not represent the primary role of evaluating coverage under the policy terms. Question 41. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which ethical consideration is most relevant for surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma when handling claims involving high-value losses? A. Minimizing insurer expenses related to claim payments. B. Providing transparent communication with the insured. C. Advocating for quick resolution of claims to reduce costs. D. Reviewing and adjusting policy terms to limit liability. Answer: B. Providing transparent communication with the insured. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma must prioritize providing transparent communication with insureds when handling claims involving high-value losses. This ethical consideration ensures that insureds are informed about the claims process, including coverage details, claim evaluation, and settlement negotiations. Options A, C, and D may be considerations in claims handling but do not directly address the ethical imperative of transparent communication. Question 42. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. When reviewing a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what is the significance of non-admitted insurers? A. They are exempt from state insurance regulations. B. They offer policies that are automatically renewable. C. They provide coverage for risks not accepted by admitted insurers. D. They participate in state guarantee funds. Answer: C. They provide coverage for risks not accepted by admitted insurers. In Oklahoma, non-admitted insurers offering surplus lines insurance provide coverage for risks that admitted insurers may decline to cover due to their unique or high-risk nature. This flexibility allows surplus lines brokers to place coverage with non-admitted insurers that specialize in these types of risks, filling gaps in the insurance market. Options A, B, and D do not accurately describe the role or significance of non-admitted insurers in surplus lines insurance. Question 43. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. In Oklahoma, what is the primary purpose of conducting a thorough claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy? A. To minimize insurer expenses related to claims processing. B. To establish the insured's credibility in the claim. C. To verify the extent and cause of the loss. D. To expedite the claims settlement process. Answer: C. To verify the extent and cause of the loss. The primary purpose of conducting a thorough claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma is to verify the extent and cause of the loss. This involves gathering evidence, assessing damages, and determining the circumstances surrounding the claim to ensure that the insurer accurately understands the nature of the loss and can make informed coverage decisions. Options A, B, and D may be secondary outcomes of the investigation process but do not capture the primary purpose of verifying the loss details. Question 44. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. During litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, what role does legal counsel typically play in defending the insurer? A. Providing expert testimony on claim valuation. B. Negotiating settlement terms with the insured. C. Representing the insurer in court proceedings. D. Mediating disputes between the parties. Answer: C. Representing the insurer in court proceedings. In Oklahoma, legal counsel typically plays a crucial role in representing the insurer in court proceedings during litigation of surplus lines insurance claims. Counsel advises the insurer on legal strategies, prepares and presents arguments in court, and ensures compliance with legal requirements throughout the litigation process. Options A, B, and D describe roles that legal counsel may fulfill in different contexts but are less central to their primary role of legal representation in litigation. Question 45. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which regulatory requirement must surplus lines insurers comply with in Oklahoma to ensure adherence to fair claims practices? A. Providing annual financial statements to policyholders. B. Reporting premium taxes to the state insurance department. C. Issuing timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds. D. Maintaining reserves for unpaid claims liabilities. Answer: C. Issuing timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurers must issue timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds as a regulatory requirement to ensure adherence to fair claims practices. This acknowledgement notifies insureds that their claim has been received and initiates the claims handling process, setting expectations for further communication and investigation. Options A, B, and D are also regulatory requirements but focus on financial reporting and reserves rather than the initial acknowledgement of claims. Question 46. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. When evaluating a liability claim under a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what role does the claims adjuster's assessment of coverage play? A. Determining the insured's financial responsibility. B. Assessing the credibility of witness testimonies. C. Verifying compliance with policy conditions. D. Analyzing the insurer's obligation to indemnify. Answer: D. Analyzing the insurer's obligation to indemnify. In Oklahoma, the claims adjuster's assessment of coverage under surplus lines insurance policy primarily involves analyzing the insurer's obligation to indemnify the insured for liability claims. This assessment ensures that the claim falls within the scope of coverage provided by the policy, taking into account policy provisions, exclusions, and the circumstances of the claim. Options A, B, and C may be considerations in claims handling but do not directly address the adjuster's role in analyzing coverage obligations. Question 47. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. What ethical consideration is most relevant for surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma when handling claims involving confidential information? A. Maximizing insurer profitability through efficient claims handling. B. Disclosing claim details to third-party experts for evaluation. C. Ensuring compliance with policy provisions for claim resolution. D. Safeguarding the confidentiality and privacy of claim information. Answer: D. Safeguarding the confidentiality and privacy of claim information. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma must prioritize safeguarding the confidentiality and privacy of claim information when handling claims involving confidential details. This ethical consideration ensures that sensitive information about the insured's claims and circumstances is protected from unauthorized disclosure, maintaining trust and compliance with privacy laws. Options A, B, and C may be important aspects of claims handling but do not address the primary ethical responsibility of confidentiality. Question 14. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What distinguishes surplus lines insurance policies from standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma? A. Automatic inclusion in state guarantee funds. B. Lower premiums due to state subsidies. C. Coverage for non-standard risks declined by admitted insurers. D. Guaranteed renewal of policies at initial terms. Answer: C. Coverage for non-standard risks declined by admitted insurers. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma provide coverage for risks that standard admitted insurers may decline to cover due to their unique or high-risk nature. This characteristic allows surplus lines insurers to offer tailored coverage solutions for risks that do not fit within the underwriting criteria of admitted insurers. Options A, B, and D do not accurately describe the distinguishing feature of surplus lines insurance policies. Question 49. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In Oklahoma, what is the significance of the non-admitted status of insurers in surplus lines insurance? A. It ensures automatic coverage for all types of risks. B. It allows for low premium rates compared to admitted insurers. C. It guarantees reimbursement from state guarantee funds. D. It provides coverage options for unique or high-risk exposures. Answer: D. It provides coverage options for unique or high-risk exposures. The non-admitted status of insurers in surplus lines insurance in Oklahoma allows for coverage options for unique or high-risk exposures that admitted insurers may decline to cover. This flexibility enables surplus lines brokers to place insurance with non-admitted insurers specializing in these types of risks, thereby filling gaps in the insurance market. Options A, B, and C do not accurately describe the significance of the non-admitted status in surplus lines insurance. Question 50. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. When handling surplus lines insurance claims in Oklahoma, what ethical consideration should claims professionals prioritize when interacting with insureds? A. Minimizing insurer expenses related to claims settlements. B. Ensuring accurate and timely claims processing. C. Advocating for maximum claim payouts for insureds. D. Maintaining confidentiality and privacy of claim information. Answer: D. Maintaining confidentiality and privacy of claim information. Claims professionals in Oklahoma must prioritize maintaining the confidentiality and privacy of claim information when handling surplus lines insurance claims. This ethical consideration ensures that sensitive details about the insured's claims and circumstances are protected from unauthorized disclosure in accordance with legal and regulatory requirements. Options A, B, and C are important aspects of claims handling but do not directly address the ethical imperative of confidentiality. Question 51. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which regulatory requirement must surplus lines brokers comply with in Oklahoma to legally place surplus lines insurance policies? A. Obtaining annual financial statements from insureds. B. Reporting premium taxes to the state insurance department. C. Conducting annual claims audits for policyholders. D. Releasing policyholder information to state authorities. Answer: B. Reporting premium taxes to the state insurance department. In Oklahoma, surplus lines brokers must comply with regulatory requirements to report premium taxes to the state insurance department when placing surplus lines insurance policies. This ensures that the state receives appropriate tax revenue from non-admitted insurance transactions, supporting regulatory oversight and financial integrity. Options A, C, and D may involve other regulatory requirements but do not specifically pertain to premium tax reporting for surplus lines insurance. Question 52. Surplus lines insurance claims process. In Oklahoma, what is the primary role of the surplus lines claims adjuster in the claims handling process? A. Investigating potential fraud by the insured. B. Determining the extent of coverage under the policy. C. Negotiating settlements with third-party claimants. D. Reviewing premium tax obligations for the insured. Answer: B. Determining the extent of coverage under the policy. The primary role of the surplus lines claims adjuster in Oklahoma is to determine the extent of coverage under the policy. This involves evaluating the claim against the policy terms, including exclusions and limitations, to assess the insurer's obligation to indemnify the insured for the loss. Options A, C, and D may be tasks that the adjuster performs but are not the primary role of determining coverage. Question 53. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. During litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, what is the significance of the policy's notice provisions? A. They determine the statute of limitations for filing a claim. B. They establish timelines for notifying the insurer of a claim. C. They specify the limits of liability under the policy. D. They outline procedures for selecting legal counsel. Answer: B. They establish timelines for notifying the insurer of a claim. In Oklahoma, the notice provisions in a surplus lines insurance policy specify timelines for insureds to notify the insurer of a claim. Adhering to these provisions is crucial during litigation, as failure to provide timely notice can affect the insurer's obligations and defenses. Options A, C, and D may be related to other policy provisions but do not directly address the significance of notice provisions in litigation. Question 54. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. When reviewing a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what distinguishes the regulatory oversight compared to standard admitted insurance policies? A. Exemption from state insurance reporting requirements. B. Compliance with state guarantee fund protections. C. Approval from state regulators for policy issuance. D. Non-admitted status for specialized coverage. Answer: D. Non-admitted status for specialized coverage. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma have a non-admitted status, which distinguishes them from standard admitted insurance policies by allowing coverage for risks that admitted insurers may decline to cover. This flexibility enables surplus lines insurers to provide specialized coverage solutions tailored to unique or high-risk exposures. Options A, B, and C do not accurately describe the distinguishing feature of surplus lines insurance policies related to regulatory oversight. Question 55. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. In Oklahoma, what factors should a surplus lines claims adjuster consider when determining the value of a complex commercial property claim? A. Current economic conditions affecting property values. B. The insured's past claims history with the insurer. C. Compliance with state regulatory guidelines. D. Applicable policy provisions and coverage limits. Answer: D. Applicable policy provisions and coverage limits. When evaluating the value of a complex commercial property claim in Oklahoma, a surplus lines claims adjuster should primarily consider the applicable policy provisions and coverage limits. This involves understanding how the policy defines and limits coverage for various aspects of the claim, ensuring that the insurer's obligations are aligned with the terms of the policy. Options A, B, and C may be relevant considerations in claims evaluation but do not address the primary focus on policy provisions and coverage limits. Question 56. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. What ethical consideration should surplus lines claims professionals prioritize when handling claims involving insureds with limited English proficiency? LEP. In Oklahoma, A. Providing interpreters at no cost to insureds. B. Offering reduced settlement amounts due to language barriers. C. Disclosing policy terms in simplified language. D. Ensuring effective communication and understanding. Answer: D. Ensuring effective communication and understanding. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma should prioritize ensuring effective communication and understanding when handling claims involving insureds with limited English proficiency. LEP. This ethical consideration involves providing language assistance, such as interpreters or translated documents, to facilitate clear and accurate communication throughout the claims process. Options A, B, and C may involve supportive actions but do not directly address the ethical imperative of communication and understanding for L.E. P. insureds. Question 57. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. What role does the Oklahoma Insurance Department play in regulating surplus lines insurance transactions? A. Setting premium rates for surplus lines policies. B. Monitoring compliance with surplus lines tax reporting. C. Approving surplus lines policy forms and endorsements. D. Conducting investigations into surplus lines claims. Answer: C. Approving surplus lines policy forms and endorsements. The Oklahoma Insurance Department plays a regulatory role in surplus lines insurance transactions by approving surplus lines policy forms and endorsements. This ensures that policies comply with state regulations and are consistent with statutory requirements before being offered to insureds. Options A, B, and D describe other regulatory activities related to surplus lines insurance, but do not accurately describe the department's role in approving policy forms and endorsements. Question 58. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. During a claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what role does the claims adjuster play in assessing coverage for the insured? A. Reviewing the insured's financial statements. B. Analyzing the insured's claim history. C. Interpreting policy provisions and exclusions. D. Negotiating settlement amounts with third parties. Answer: C. Interpreting policy provisions and exclusions. In Oklahoma, during a claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy, the claims adjuster plays a crucial role in interpreting policy provisions and exclusions to determine the scope of coverage for the insured. This involves applying the terms and conditions of the policy to the facts of the claim to assess whether the loss is covered under the policy. Options A, B, and D may be tasks that a claims adjuster performs but do not address the primary role of interpreting policy provisions for coverage determination. Question 59. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. When defending a surplus lines insurance claim in litigation in Oklahoma, why is it important for legal counsel to understand the policy's notice requirements? A. To determine the insurer's liability limits. B. To establish the insured's compliance with premium payments. C. To argue for the enforceability of policy exclusions. D. To assert potential defenses based on timely notice. Question 59. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. When defending a surplus lines insurance claim in litigation in Oklahoma, why is it important for legal counsel to understand the policy's notice requirements? A. To determine the insurer's liability limits. B. To establish the insured's compliance with premium payments. C. To argue for the enforceability of policy exclusions. D. To assert potential defenses based on timely notice. Question 60. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What distinguishes surplus lines insurance policies from standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma with regard to regulatory oversight? A. Exemption from state insurance laws and regulations. B. Compliance with state-mandated coverage requirements. C. Non-participation in state guarantee funds. D. Coverage for unique or non-standard risks. Answer: D. Coverage for unique or non-standard risks. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma provide coverage for unique or non-standard risks that admitted insurers may decline to cover. This distinguishes them from standard admitted insurance policies, which typically adhere to state-mandated coverage requirements and participate in state guarantee funds. Option A is incorrect, as surplus lines insurers are not exempt from all state regulations but are subject to specific regulatory frameworks. Option B is incorrect, as surplus lines insurers do not necessarily comply with state-mandated coverage requirements. Option C is incorrect, as surplus lines insurers do not participate in state guarantee funds. Question 61. Surplus lines insurance claim settlement. In Oklahoma, what role does the surplus lines claims adjuster play in negotiating settlement agreements? A. Advising insureds on legal strategies for claims. B. Minimizing insurer expenses related to claims. C. Evaluating coverage and determining liability. D. Documenting settlement terms and agreements. Answer: C. Evaluating coverage and determining liability. In Oklahoma, the surplus lines claims adjuster's role in negotiating settlement agreements primarily involves evaluating coverage under the policy and determining the insurer's liability for the claim. This assessment ensures that settlement negotiations are based on a thorough understanding of policy terms, exclusions, and applicable legal principles. Options A, B, and D may be tasks that a claims adjuster performs but do not address the primary role of evaluating coverage and liability in negotiation. Question 62. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. What ethical consideration should surplus lines claims professionals prioritize when handling claims involving insureds in Oklahoma who are experiencing financial hardship? A. Seeking approval for premium payment extensions. B. Disclosing policy limits to third-party claimants. C. Offering fair and prompt claims settlements. D. Advising insureds on cost-cutting measures. Answer: C. Offering fair and prompt claims settlements. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma should prioritize offering fair and prompt claims settlements when handling claims involving insureds experiencing financial hardship. This ethical consideration ensures that insureds receive timely compensation that aligns with their policy coverage, helping them recover from losses despite financial challenges. Options A, B, and D may be relevant actions but do not directly address the ethical imperative of fair and prompt settlements. Question 63. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which regulatory requirement must surplus lines insurers comply with in Oklahoma to ensure transparency and accountability in claims handling? A. Providing annual financial statements to policyholders. B. Reporting surplus lines premiums to state authorities. C. Conducting regular audits of claims files. D. Issuing timely notifications of claims status to insureds. Answer: D. Issuing timely notifications of claims status to insureds. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurers must comply with regulatory requirements to issue timely notifications of claims status to insureds. This ensures transparency and accountability in claims handling by keeping insureds informed about the progress of their claims and any decisions that affect coverage or settlement. Options A, B, and C may be regulatory requirements but do not specifically address the need for timely communication of claims status to insureds. Question 64. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. When evaluating a complex liability claim under surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what role does the claims adjuster's assessment of causation play? A. Determining the insured's liability limits. B. Establishing the insured's past claims history. C. Analyzing the extent of coverage under the policy. D. Verifying the cause and circumstances of the loss. Answer: D. Verifying the cause and circumstances of the loss. In Oklahoma, the claims adjuster's assessment of causation plays a crucial role in evaluating a complex liability claim under surplus lines insurance policy. This involves verifying the cause and circumstances of the loss to determine whether the claim is covered under the policy's terms and exclusions. Options A, B, and C may be considerations in claims handling but do not address the primary role of verifying causation. Question 65. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. During litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, why is it important for legal counsel to review the insurer's claims handling file? A. To determine potential coverage limits under the policy. B. To identify errors or omissions in claims handling. C. To renegotiate settlement terms with the insured. D. To expedite the litigation process with evidence. Answer: B. To identify errors or omissions in claims handling. In Oklahoma, legal counsel should review the insurer's claims handling file during litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim to identify any errors or omissions that could impact the defense of the claim. This review helps counsel understand the insurer's actions and decisions throughout the claims process, ensuring that the insurer's position is effectively defended in court. Options A, C, and D may involve other aspects of the litigation process but do not directly address the importance of reviewing claims handling files. Question 66. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What distinguishes surplus lines insurance policies from standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma with regard to regulatory oversight? A. Automatic participation in state guarantee funds. B. Exemption from state insurance rate regulations. C. Coverage for risks declined by admitted insurers. D. Mandatory submission of policy forms to regulators. Answer: C. Coverage for risks declined by admitted insurers. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma provide coverage for risks that admitted insurers may decline to cover due to their unique or non-standard nature. This distinguishes them from standard admitted insurance policies, which are subject to regulatory oversight and must comply with state insurance rate regulations and participate in state guarantee funds. Options A, B, and D do not accurately describe the distinguishing feature of surplus lines insurance policies related to regulatory oversight. Question 67. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In Oklahoma, what factors should a surplus lines claims adjuster consider when determining the reasonableness of a settlement offer? A. The insured's financial hardship due to the claim. B. The potential impact on the insurer's reputation. C. Compliance with state-mandated claims handling guidelines. D. The extent of liability and comparative negligence. Answer: D. The extent of liability and comparative negligence. When determining the reasonableness of a settlement offer in Oklahoma, a surplus lines claims adjuster should primarily consider the extent of liability and comparative negligence involved in the claim. This assessment ensures that any settlement offer reflects a fair and equitable resolution based on the insurer's liability exposure under the policy terms. Options A, B, and C may be relevant considerations but do not directly address the adjuster's primary role in evaluating liability and comparative negligence. Question 68. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. What ethical considerations should surplus lines claims professionals prioritize when handling claims involving insureds in Oklahoma who are facing litigation from third parties? A. Protecting the insurer's financial interests. B. Facilitating prompt resolution of claims. C. Disclosing policy limits to third-party claimants. D. Maintaining confidentiality and privacy of claim information. Answer: D. Maintaining confidentiality and privacy of claim information. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma should prioritize maintaining confidentiality and privacy of claim information when handling claims involving insureds facing litigation from third parties. This ethical consideration ensures that sensitive details about the insured's claims and circumstances are protected from unauthorized disclosure, which is crucial in legal proceedings. Options A, B, and C may be important aspects of claims handling but do not directly address the ethical imperative of confidentiality in litigation scenarios. Question 69. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which regulatory requirement must surplus lines insurers comply with in Oklahoma to ensure adherence to fair claims practices? A. Providing annual financial statements to policyholders. B. Reporting premium taxes to the state insurance department. C. Issuing timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds. D. Conducting independent audits of claims handling practices. Answer: C. Issuing timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurers must comply with regulatory requirements to issue timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds as part of fair claims practices. This acknowledgement notifies insureds that their claim has been received and initiates the claims handling process, setting expectations for further communication and investigation. Options A, B, and D may involve other regulatory requirements but do not specifically address the regulatory focus on timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds. Question 70. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. When evaluating a property damage claim under a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what key factors should the claims adjuster consider? A. The insured's previous claim history. B. Compliance with state tax reporting requirements. C. The extent of damage and causation. D. Negotiation tactics with third-party claimants. Answer: C. The extent of damage and causation. In Oklahoma, when evaluating a property damage claim under a surplus lines insurance policy, the claims adjuster should primarily consider the extent of damage and causation. This involves assessing the severity of the property damage and determining the cause of the loss to establish whether the claim falls within the policy's coverage terms. Options A, B, and D may be factors in claims handling but do not address the primary consideration of damage assessment and causation. Question 71. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. During litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, what is the significance of the claims adjuster's documentation and records? A. Establishing the insurer's reserve amount for the claim. B. Demonstrating compliance with state reporting requirements. C. Providing evidence to support the insurer's defense. D. Calculating the insured's financial responsibility. Answer: C. Providing evidence to support the insurer's defense. In Oklahoma, the documentation and records maintained by the claims adjuster during litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim serve as crucial evidence to support the insurer's defense. These records document the insurer's actions, decisions, and communication throughout the claims handling process, ensuring that the insurer's position is well supported in legal proceedings. Options A, B, and D may involve other aspects of claims handling but do not specifically address the significance of documentation in litigation defense. Question 72. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What distinguishes surplus lines insurance policies from standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma with regard to coverage availability? A. Automatic inclusion in state guarantee funds. B. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. C. Compliance with state-determined premium rates. D. Mandatory participation in state audits. Answer: B. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma distinguish themselves from standard admitted insurance policies by offering flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. This allows surplus lines insurers to provide coverage for unique or non-standard risks that admitted insurers may decline to cover, catering to specific client needs and market demands. Options A, C, and D do not accurately describe the distinguishing feature of surplus lines insurance policies related to coverage availability and underwriting flexibility. Question 73. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In Oklahoma, what factors should a surplus lines claims adjuster consider when evaluating the adequacy of a settlement offer? A. The insured's financial hardships due to the claim. B. Potential impact on the insurer's claims reserves. C. Compliance with state insurance premium taxes. D. The policy's coverage limits and liability exposure. Answer: D. The policy's coverage limits and liability exposure. When evaluating the adequacy of a settlement offer in Oklahoma, a surplus lines claims adjuster should primarily consider the policy's coverage limits and liability exposure. This involves assessing whether the settlement amount aligns with the insurer's obligations under the policy terms, including any exclusions or limitations that may impact coverage. Options A, B, and C may be relevant factors but do not address the adjuster's primary consideration of coverage limits and liability exposure. Question 74. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. What ethical considerations should surplus lines claims professionals prioritize when handling claims involving insureds in Oklahoma who are under financial distress? A. Offering reduced settlement amounts to expedite claims closure. B. Disclosing policy limits to third-party claimants. C. Advising insureds on cost-saving measures. D. Treating insureds with empathy and fairness. Answer: D. Treating insureds with empathy and fairness. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma should prioritize treating insureds with empathy and fairness when handling claims involving financial distress. This ethical consideration ensures that insureds receive respectful treatment and fair consideration of their claims circumstances, fostering trust and cooperation throughout the claims process. Options A, B, and C may involve actions related to claims handling but do not directly address the ethical imperative of empathy and fairness. Question 75. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. What regulatory requirement must surplus lines insurers comply with in Oklahoma to ensure transparency in claims settlement practices? A. Conducting annual claims audits. B. Reporting premium taxes to state authorities. C. Providing written notification of coverage denials. D. Submitting policy forms for state approval. Answer: C. Providing written notification of coverage denials. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurers must comply with regulatory requirements to provide written notification of coverage denials to insureds. This ensures transparency in claims settlement practices by informing insureds of the insurer's decision regarding coverage and providing reasons for the denial as required by state regulations. Options A, B, and D may involve other regulatory requirements but do not specifically address the regulatory focus on transparency in coverage denials. Question 76. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. During the investigation of a complex surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, what role does the claims adjuster play in assessing coverage? A. Analyzing the insured's financial statements. B. Evaluating the insured's prior claims history. C. Interpreting policy provisions and exclusions. D. Negotiating settlement amounts with third parties. Answer: C. Interpreting policy provisions and exclusions. In Oklahoma, during the investigation of a complex surplus lines insurance claim, the claims adjuster's role primarily involves interpreting policy provisions and exclusions. This includes analyzing the language of the policy to determine whether the claim falls within the scope of coverage provided, considering any applicable exclusions or limitations. Options A, B, and D may be tasks that a claims adjuster performs but do not address the primary role of interpreting policy terms for coverage assessment. Question 77. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. When defending a surplus lines insurance claim in litigation in Oklahoma, why is it important for legal counsel to understand the insurer's claims handling practices? A. To calculate the insurer's reserve amount for the claim. B. To establish the insurer's compliance with state regulations. C. To negotiate a favorable settlement with the insured. D. To defend against allegations of bad faith. Answer: D. To defend against allegations of bad faith. In Oklahoma, understanding the insurer's claims handling practices is important for legal counsel defending a surplus lines insurance claim in litigation to defend against allegations of bad faith. Effective understanding and documentation of claims handling practices can demonstrate that the insurer acted reasonably and in good faith throughout the claims process, mitigating potential legal liabilities. Options A, B, and C may involve other aspects of claims handling but do not directly address the importance of defending against bad faith allegations. Question 78. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What regulatory advantage do surplus lines insurance policies offer over standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma? A. Exemption from state premium tax reporting. B. Compliance with state-mandated coverage requirements. C. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. D. Automatic inclusion in state guarantee funds. Answer: C. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma offer regulatory advantage over standard admitted insurance policies by providing flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. This allows surplus lines insurers to cover risks that admitted insurers may decline, providing tailored solutions to meet unique client needs without being bound by strict state-mandated coverage requirements. Options A, B, and D do not accurately describe the regulatory advantage of surplus lines insurance policies related to underwriting flexibility. Question 79. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. When negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, what factors should a claims adjuster prioritize to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements? A. Minimizing insurer expenses related to the claim. B. Offering quick settlement to expedite claims closure. C. Documenting settlement terms and agreements. D. Providing fair compensation based on policy terms. Answer: D. Providing fair compensation based on policy terms. In Oklahoma, when negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim, a claims adjuster should prioritize providing fair compensation based on policy terms to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. This involves assessing the policy's coverage and exclusions as well as evaluating the extent of the insured's loss to determine an appropriate settlement amount that aligns with the insurer's obligations. Options A, B, and C may be considerations in claims settlement but do not address the primary regulatory requirement of providing fair compensation based on policy terms. Question 80. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. What ethical consideration should surplus lines claims professionals prioritize when handling claims involving insureds in Oklahoma who are impacted by a natural disaster? A. Expediting the claim settlement process. B. Disclosing policy limits to third-party claimants. C. Providing clear and transparent communication. D. Advising insureds on property restoration contractors. Answer: C. Providing clear and transparent communication. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma should prioritize providing clear and transparent communication when handling claims involving insureds impacted by a natural disaster. This ethical consideration ensures that insureds are informed about the claims process, their coverage, and any potential outcomes, fostering trust and understanding during a challenging time. Options A, B, and D may involve actions related to claims handling but do not directly address the ethical imperative of clear communication in disaster-related claims. Question 81. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which regulatory requirement must surplus lines insurers comply with in Oklahoma to ensure adherence to fair claims practices? A. Conducting annual claims audits. B. Reporting surplus lines premiums to state authorities. C. Issuing timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds. D. Submitting policy forms for state approval. Answer: C. Issuing timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds. In Oklahoma, surplus lines insurers must comply with regulatory requirements to issue timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds as part of fair claims practices. This acknowledgement notifies insureds that their claim has been received and initiates the claims handling process, setting expectations for further communication and investigation. Options A, B, and D may involve other regulatory requirements but do not specifically address the regulatory focus on timely acknowledgement of claims to insureds. Question 82. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. During the investigation of a complex surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, what is the adjuster's primary objective when gathering evidence? A. Identifying potential coverage limitations. B. Minimizing insurer liability exposure. C. Determining the cause and extent of loss. D. Negotiating settlements with third parties. Answer: C. Determining the cause and extent of loss. In Oklahoma, during the investigation of a complex surplus lines insurance claim, the adjuster's primary objective is to determine the cause and extent of the loss. This involves gathering evidence to establish the circumstances surrounding the claim and verifying whether it falls within the policy's coverage terms. Options A, B, and D may be considerations in claims handling but do not address the adjuster's primary objective of investigating the cause and extent of loss. Question 83. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. What ethical consideration should surplus lines claims professionals prioritize when handling claims involving insureds in Oklahoma who have filed multiple claims within a short period? A. Advising insureds on risk management strategies. B. Disclosing claim history to third-party claimants. C. Ensuring fair treatment in claim evaluation. D. Recommending higher premium rates for insureds. Answer: C. Ensuring fair treatment in claim evaluation. Surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma should prioritize ensuring fair treatment and evaluation when handling claims involving insureds who have filed multiple claims within a short period. This ethical consideration ensures that each claim is evaluated based on its individual merits and that insureds receive fair consideration regardless of their claims history. Options A, B, and D may involve actions related to claims handling but do not directly address the ethical imperative of fair treatment in claims evaluation. Question 84. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What advantage do surplus lines insurance policies offer over standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma with regard to coverage options? A. Exemption from state premium tax reporting. B. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. C. Compliance with state-mandated coverage requirements. D. Automatic inclusion in state guarantee funds. Answer: B. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma offer an advantage over standard admitted insurance policies by providing flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. This allows surplus lines insurers to cover risks that admitted insurers may decline, providing tailored solutions to meet specific client needs without being bound by strict state-mandated coverage requirements. Options A, C, and D do not accurately describe the advantage of surplus lines insurance policies related to underwriting flexibility. Question 85. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. When evaluating a liability claim under a surplus lines insurance policy in Oklahoma, what is the adjuster primarily assessing? A. The insured's financial responsibility. B. Compliance with state premium tax laws. C. The extent of coverage under the policy. D. Negotiation tactics with claimants. Answer: C. The extent of coverage under the policy. In Oklahoma, when evaluating a liability claim under surplus lines insurance policy, the adjuster primarily assesses the extent of coverage under the policy. This involves determining whether the claim falls within the policy's terms and conditions, including any exclusions or limitations that may apply. Options A, B, and D may be factors in claims handling but do not address the primary assessment of coverage extent. Question 86. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. During litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, why is it important for legal counsel to review the insurer's claims handling file? A. To establish the insured's claim history. B. To negotiate a settlement amount. C. To demonstrate compliance with state regulations. D. To defend against allegations of bad faith. Answer: D. To defend against allegations of bad faith. In Oklahoma, legal counsel should review the insurer's claims handling file during litigation of a surplus lines insurance claim to defend against allegations of bad faith. This review helps counsel understand and demonstrate that the insurer acted in good faith throughout the claims process, which is crucial in defending against legal claims of unfair or improper handling of the insured's claim. Options A, B, and C may involve aspects of litigation but do not directly address the importance of defending against bad faith allegations. Question 87. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What distinguishes surplus lines insurance policies from standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma with regard to coverage availability? A. Exemption from state premium tax reporting. B. Compliance with state-mandated coverage requirements. C. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. D. Automatic inclusion in state guarantee funds. Answer: C. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma offer flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance, distinguishing them from standard admitted insurance policies. This flexibility allows surplus lines insurers to provide coverage for risks that admitted insurers may decline to cover, tailoring policies to meet specific client needs without being bound by strict state-mandated coverage requirements. Options A, B, and D do not accurately describe the distinguishing feature of surplus lines insurance policies related to underwriting flexibility. Question 88. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In Oklahoma, what ethical consideration should surplus lines claims adjusters prioritize when negotiating settlements? A. Minimizing insurer expenses related to the claim. B. Offering quick settlement to expedite claims closure. C. Ensuring fair compensation based on policy terms. D. Disclosing policy limits to third-party claimants. Answer: C. Ensuring fair compensation based on policy terms. Surplus lines claims adjusters in Oklahoma should prioritize ensuring fair compensation based on policy terms when negotiating settlements. This ethical consideration ensures that insureds receive compensation that aligns with their coverage under the policy, maintaining trust and fairness in the claims handling process. Options A, B, and D may involve actions related to claims handling but do not directly address the ethical imperative of fair compensation based on policy terms. Question 89. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. When handling a complex surplus lines insurance claim in Oklahoma, why is it important for claims professionals to maintain confidentiality? A. To protect insureds from unnecessary scrutiny. B. To avoid potential conflicts of interest. C. To comply with state privacy regulations. D. To prevent disclosure of sensitive claim details. Answer: D. To prevent disclosure of sensitive claim details. Maintaining confidentiality of sensitive claim details is important for surplus lines claims professionals in Oklahoma handling complex claims. This ensures that sensitive information about the claim and the insured is protected from unauthorized disclosure, which can prevent potential harm to the insured and maintain the integrity of the claims process. Options A, B, and C may be related to confidentiality but do not directly address the importance of preventing disclosure of sensitive claim details. Question 90. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What advantage do surplus lines insurance policies offer over standard admitted insurance policies in Oklahoma with regard to coverage flexibility? A. Exemption from state-mandated premium rates. B. Compliance with state guarantee fund requirements. C. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. D. Automatic inclusion in state regulatory audits. Answer: C. Flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance. Surplus lines insurance policies in Oklahoma offer flexibility in underwriting and risk acceptance, distinguishing them from standard admitted insurance policies. This flexibility allows surplus lines insurers to provide coverage for unique or hard-to-place risks that admitted insurers may decline to cover, catering to specific client needs without being bound by strict state-mandated coverage requirements. Options A, B, and D do not accurately describe the advantage of surplus lines insurance policies related to underwriting flexibility.